20 Questions with MJ. My guest today is a third generation vigneron. She's going to correct every French thing I say. It's Anne Charlotte Melia
Bachas.
Bachas. La Fontainebleau, the Fountain of the Wolf, is a famous Lidi?
Lieu-dit.
Lidi?
Lieu-dit.
Ludi?
Lieu-dit.
Located in the heart of Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Her family acquired the chateau nearly 100 years ago, and since she was a small child, Anne Charlotte would help her father in the cellar at Chateau Fontainebleau. Today, Anne Charlotte and her husband Laurent oversee the cultivation and winemaking at this estate of 48 acres. Welcome, Anne Charlotte.
Thank you for having me today. That's super nice of you. Thank you, MJ.
Well, thank you for being here. We actually met at Hospice de Rhône, which was supersonic. And everybody was like, you got to meet Anne Charlotte. You got to meet Anne Charlotte. She's just the most amazing person in the wine business. So I got to do a 12-minute interview with her there. And then we'll get into it in the podcast. But I saw her a couple weeks ago in Walla Walla. And then I saw her like 3 days later in San Luis Obispo.
San Luis Obispo, yes.
At Vicky Carroll's house. Shout out to Vicky Carroll. And we said we got to do this. So to warm us up a bit, what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you 20 questions. Some are personal, and then I'm going to follow them with the 10 questions that are actually from the Proust questionnaire, which you may be familiar with as you are from Europe.
Okay.
Okay? So listen, just answer them quickly. First thing that comes to your mind. Ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. What is your favorite book?
So my favorite book is Germinal from Émile Zola.
I know Emile Zola.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Whew, not too over my head. What is your favorite? Well, you travel a lot, but do you have any favorite TV series when you're home, or you do Netflix?
So
the
I'm
chateau?
a Netflix kind of girl. So I like How to Get Away with Murder. That was a good one. And Dynasty as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
Very cool.
I'm very eclectic.
I love it. Favorite musical artist or group?
Oh, okay. So he's a French guy that everybody else hates, but I love him. It's Jacques Higelin.
Okay. Never heard of Jacques Higelin.
No, man, nobody heard about
Yeah.
Jacques Higelin, but I love Jacques Higelin.
What is your favorite food? Last meal. What are you having?
So my favorite food. There's a lot actually, but I'm very French, so I like raclette.
Raclette. That's that
Yes.
melted cheese that
Melted
goes on
cheese
top
on
like a
top of charcuterie and
Yeah.
potatoes.
Yeah, and the potatoes.
Yeah,
Very
and
important.
pickles.
Yes.
Yep.
Very cool. We were talking about this at lunch. We were talking about sports. Who's your favorite athlete?
Oh my goodness, I have no. I don't know. My favorite athlete. Honestly, I have no idea. I don't really watch sports. I don't
Okay.
really practice sports. So, no, it's a question that I'm going to skip. Sorry.
Okay. No worries. This is a question you don't have an answer for. You can skip it per se. But what's your favorite way to spend a day off?
At the beach.
Mm.
Yes. So, I love like being at the beach and enjoying the sun and swimming in the sea. I love that.
Very cool. Do you have a bucket list destination? I know you travel a lot, but there's a place you want to go and
Do
why?
I have? Yes, Easter Island
Oh, okay.
is on my bucket list as
You want
well.
to see those big statues, right?
Yes, the
Big
Moai.
heads.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so where else? Chile, Argentina are in my bucket list.
Very
but
nice.
I traveled quite a lot already, so I already
You've checked off a lot of
achieved,
yeah,
yes,
a lot.
some of my goal.
All right. What do you do for exercise?
I drink wine. I mean, it's
Yeah,
good.
curls.
Yes, I
The
do that.
curls.
So no,
Totally.
every morning I try to do some crunch and stuff like that to help me to control my weight, which is not easy.
If money were no object in your life, what would be the first thing that you would do?
If what money
Yeah.
wasn't, what
do you have the
would-
lottery in France?
I do have. We do have lottery.
Someone just won
plans.
like $2 billion.
I
here.
know. I was so jealous.
You and
Like,
everybody else in the United
Yeah,
States.
but the government take like half of it.
So
still-
what?
Yeah, still. So if money, right now I'm not sure that money is the main purpose of my life. So I would say I will continue what I'm doing. I will be a winemaker.
I know this question I got. I tweaked these, but with winemakers, they're like, yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like I'm making all this money. So
No, it's like
so
yes.
I'm
okay.
doing it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm already
Yeah.
doing stuff that I like to do.
Okay. Who would you most like to have a bottle of wine with? Dead or alive? We could bring some back. Charles de Gaulle. I don't know.
No, maybe not Charles de Gaulle. Who I want to have a bottle? Jacques Higelin.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a very interesting guy.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the next 10 questions were made famous by an American named James Lipton, and he had a show called Inside the Actor's Studio.
Okay.
But in my research, it turned out it's really just the Proust questionnaire. Okay. All right. So, what is your favorite word?
Merde.
Oh, wonderful.
It's because I'm French, so I say
Okay.
that all the time.
Okay. What is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word would be le mot que je déteste le plus. Déteste.
Detest. Got it. Anne Charlotte, what turns you on?
What turns me on? What excites
Yeah,
me?
excite you. Yeah.
What turns me on?
It wasn't that specific of a question. Okay.
Travels.
I love it. I love it. And by the way, everybody, this is the warm up. You're getting behind the scenes. I'm about to do a live podcast with Anne Charlotte on my Facebook page because we can stream there, and that's just facebook.com/Black Wine Guy. And I'm sorry, Lotus Pinot, but we're not going to be talking about Pinot Noir because Anne Charlotte is a producer in the Shout Enough to Pop. So hit me up later. And I don't really have a favorite. I have favorite vineyard sites. Okay. What turns you off?
What turns me off?
Yes.
Cold.
Okay. What sound or noise do you love?
What sound of or noise do
Yeah.
I love?
Like-
laugh. When people laugh.
Yeah, when they laugh. Got
yes,
it.
laugh. Oh, sorry, my French
No,
accent.
it's okay. No, it's perfect.
If you get it, that's perfect.
It was perfect. Your French accent, your French American accent is better than my American
French
American
accent.
No,
American,
just even my
American
English.
accent.
Yeah, it's bad. What sound or noise do you hate?
Oh, I know exactly what sound I hate. It's the sound of the shark.
Oh, the chalkboard.
Yes, like I hate that. Yes.
What's up, Kevin Matty Burns? And to answer your question, we actually said it, Shout Enough to Pop goes with anything. It's a wine for food. There's no favorite. Nope. Okay. What's your favorite curse word?
My favorite what?
Curse word. So mad. What's your favorite? Is mad? That was your favorite word.
Oh,
but
mad.
do you have a worse one in French?
Putain.
Okay.
No, putain is really, really the best word in French.
Okay.
It's like punctuation, you know?
Gotcha.
It's putain.
Okay. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
My dream was to be a lawyer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oof. I thought that. It wasn't really a dream. Then I woke up. What are they called in France? Solicitor?
Avocat.
Avocat. Which advocate?
Yes. Like avocado.
Yes. Yep. Totally.
Avocado.
Yes. He's like he saw us at hospice. We're in Red Bank, New Jersey, just outside New York. Kevin Matty Burns. What profession would you not like to do?
Dentiste.
Yeah. Oof. All up in people's
No,
just
no.
grimy mouths, and there's something sadistic about
Yes, the sound.
like you
of
hear
that. No,
when you
no,
get a
no.
tooth pulled.
That's,
Oh!
no, impossible.
Okay, and lastly, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh, it's way too early.
Oh.
And honestly, I'm not sure that I will go in heaven. I mostly see myself in hell. But anyway.
Well, this was a lot of fun. If you want more of Anne Charlotte, and I know you do, make sure you tune in to our episode of the Black Wine Guy Experience. That's going to go live on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Black Wine Guy. And until the next time, everybody, peace. All right, let's cut and go over to the Facebook page.
Magic, people.
I know, right? All right. We're gonna
So now it's here.
now it's now we're
Okay.
now we're just we're just gonna talk. Just put this away for now. We're good to go. We're good to go. All right. Ready?
Yep.
All right. We good, Chris?
You good? You can start whenever you're ready.
Hey, everybody, what's up? It's your boy MJ. Welcome to the Black Wine Guy Experience. My guest today is a third generation vigneron. That's with 2 N's and an E. And Charlotte, say your last name.
Anne-Charlotte Melia Bachas.
That's her. She is from La Font de Loup, which is the Fountain of the Wolf, which is a famous
A famous
lieu-dit.
lieu-dit.
You've seen that if you know Chateauneuf du Pape. The Jersey thing, I can't get it out. And this is located right in the heart of Chateauneuf du Pape. Her family acquired the chateau nearly 100 years ago. And since she was a small child, Anne Charlotte would help her father in the cellar at Chateau Font de Loup. Today, Anne Charlotte and her husband, Laurent, oversee the cultivation and winemaking at this estate of about 48 acres. Welcome, Anne Charlotte.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you guys for being on live with us.
Yeah, and so we're super excited to be here. And Charlotte, tell everybody about the wines you hand delivered from France.
Oh, yes. So the wine that you have in your glass right now is our white Chateauneuf du Pape. It is what I call the unicorn because, there's not a lot of white Chateauneuf du Pape.
Nope.
Because less than 5% of the total production is white in Chateauneuf du Pape. So
Okay.
I produce only 250 cases of white. And but it's a beautiful wine. So it's a blend of Grenache Blanc, Clairette, Roussanne, and Bourboulenc. Half of the Grenache Blanc and half of the Roussanne are vinified in barrels.
Okay.
So and demi-muit, and the rest is vinified in concrete vats.
And so, before we get claret, a lot of people I love claret.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you throw that in the and then also you have Bourbon.
Bourboulenc.
Yeah, which
So claret will bring a lot of flowers and freshness. And Bourboulenc, I always call that the glue of the family. If Bourboulenc is missing, so the wine is not the same. It's like when somebody is missing in a family or in a group of friends.
yeah.
So the ambience, and it's not the same. So Bourboulenc by itself, I won't say that it's really amazing, but without Bourboulenc, it's completely boring.
Bourboulenc is the life of the party.
Bourboulenc is the life of the party, exactly.
I've never heard. I mean, I think we were talking about that. It came up at dinner a couple weeks ago, but I like a lot of them that when are just like a Grenache Blanc or a Claret. A lot of producers when they do a Chateau
Yes,
Pape Blanc.
and a lot of Roussanne as well in
Yeah.
Chateauneuf du Pape. But Bourboulenc is really here to lift a dish. It's like if you do the best dish ever and if you don't season the dish enough, it's not good enough. You know what I mean?
I do. It's all coming back to me. We
So,
were at Vicky
think-
Carroll's house.
Yes, we had this
And
conversation.
it was like about 16, 17 bottles of wine amongst 10 people. And I was like, Bourbon Blanc is like the MSG of wine. Like MSG is like what they put in Chinese food here. Like it's a salt. It's a salt added. It's a version of salt, and it just makes everything explode. Makes it pop.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's start at the beginning. Where are you from?
So I'm from Chateauneuf du Pape. I was raised there. My parents moved from Besançon to Chateauneuf when I was maybe 4 or 5 months old. That I don't remember.
Okay.
But I remember.
You'd have to have a good memory.
Yeah, but I remember spending all my life in La Font du Loup.
Okay.
So I'm
Wow.
from there.
Oh, you're from there. But what about your family? Where's your because that name, it doesn't sound French especially to me.
So Melia,
Melia, yeah.
is my father's name, and it came from Spain. in
Okay.
fact. Yeah.
Ah.
Canary Island, to be
Oh wow,
really precise.
wow. Okay, so have you been to the Canary?
Never.
Oh, they make wine there now.
Yeah, I know.
I-
No, never. I've been to China, everywhere, but not there.
But you
one
haven't
day,
been to
you
your
know.
father's homeland
Yes. Yeah. So I'm not sure he even been there
himself.
himself. So that I don't know for sure.
Okay.
but,
Okay. So I can only imagine, like, because we're where I grew up, and it's changed a lot over the years. But what was like shouting off the pop like when you were a little girl? Because I mean, on one level, it wasn't. I mean, it's still kind of like an if you know wine region, but it's not like. It must have been really, really quiet and.
Yes. So La Fondelou is located on the top of a hill, really in between two villages, Courthézon and Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
Okay.
So I went to school in Courthézon. And so what changed? We have a new supermarket. And the baker is not the same.
Oh, so
But
the baker retired or passed away,
Yes. And so the charcuterie has new owners. But honestly, the school is at the same place. And it changed, yes and no. There's still, it's a village where there's a lot of vigneron family, so winemakers family that still are here. So we see the same people, and even if some new people came to the village, it's the same heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it didn't change a lot.
Okay. So now I have these images in my head of, I mean, just this quaint, like there's a baker for bread, like all we go to the supermarket to get bread, and there was actually like a butcher who did the charcuterie.
Yes, we have a butcher in Courthézon. I think there's two butchers. And I don't know how many bakers, but there's some.
Yeah. And for people who might be listening, because I have all types of people listen, but where in France is Châteauneuf-du-Pape?
Châteauneuf-du-Pape is located on the southeast of France, so it's not far away from Avignon. So it's really in between Orange and Avignon. For the people who don't know Avignon, Avignon is located 1 hour and 45 minutes down, so south of Lyon, and 1 hour and 45 minutes north from Nice or Cannes, if you know where it is. So it's really in the Rhône region, so the Rhône River, and we are at the bottom of the Rhône River.
And I'm getting schooled. I just drink the wines, everybody. Sorry. So more about the Rhône River. So is it a Rhône Valley and the river runs through it, or like kind of what's the
So it's a river that created the valley. In fact, the Rhône River divided the Rhône region in two parts. You have left bank and right bank.
What are we in Bordeaux? Where were we
Yeah,
at?
something like that. So, but I don't know my left and my right, so I'm gonna skip the subject.
Oh,
and
okay.
continue to the Rhône River,
Okay.
which goes from let's say Lyon to almost the Mediterranean Sea, and there's a wind, very famous wind. This is the particularity of our region. It's called the Mistral, and it's blowing from the north to the south. So very strong Mistral, and that makes the Rhône region very unique.
Very wonderful. So, have you ever asked this question, like, what made your grandfather decide to go into the wine business?
Okay, so my great-grandfather actually came from Morocco, so he was like a farmer in Morocco, and he was quite wealthy, and he wanted to have a house in France, not far away. So, and Marseille is the main port.
Mm-hmm.
So from Morocco to Marseille, it was easy-ish 100 years ago to take a boat and to come to France like that. So this is why he decided to buy a property. Did he really want to be a winemaker? that I'm not really sure. I think he really picked the place for the place because it was beautiful and because he was a farmer. So why not wine? But at first he didn't bottle the wine. At first they just give the grapes to the co-op.
Yeah.
And then my father and my mother arrived in La Fond du Loup in 77 with me as a baby. And this is really when the adventure of La Fond du Loup starts the way it is right now.
Okay. Okay. So I think that's wonderful that he just kind of bought it for the place, right? Because someone said wine really grows in beautiful places. It tends to like beautiful places to grow.
That's true.
You know?
That is true. But I'm sure he wasn't really a winemaker at first because he picked this unique location, and I believe that nobody 100 years ago wanted to be there. It was the coldest place of Châteauneuf-du-Pape. So now with the global warming, it's the place to be, I would say, but 100 years ago, it was not the case.
Gotcha.
So I really believe that it was for the place. The chateau was already there. The chateau is beautiful. And no neighbors. That was one of his requests.
Yep.
He didn't want to have any neighbors. So,
Got it.
yep.
So you once said that you were born in a foudre.
I cannot say that, but I always say that I was born in a foudre, like under a foudre, actually. I remember one of my oldest memory as a child. I was maybe 4 or 5 years old and helping my father in the cellar. And at this time, the bottling machine, I remember my father had to take the bottle like that, to put it in a machine that was turning and filling the wine into the bottle. And so every time he removed the bottle from that, there was this little drop. So I think the first drop of wine I tasted was when I was 4 years ago. And I remember I enjoyed that so much. And I will always remember the smell of the winery during the harvest time. And this is a smell that makes my heart really full. Because I love this smell.
Yeah, if you there's a distinct smell at a wine jar harvest. It's just yeast and fruit. It's just
and fruit. Oh, I have it right now in my nose.
It's amazing. I mean,
and it's warm,
And it's warm, because all the heat from the yeast. Yeah, it's
from
very
the yeast
warm.
And it's very warm. So you enter the cellar and you have this fresh fruit fermenting, and it's warm and it smells so great.
Yeah. So growing up, so you said your parents arrived in 77. Did your father know anything about making wine?
No. No, not at all. Not at all. So this, I was way too young to remember that, but
It's okay.
I always say that the first time he took his tractor to go in the vineyard, so at some point the tractor stopped and he said, "Oh my goodness, what happened?" He just forgot to put some
Petrol?
on it. So he realized that, yes, in a tractor you need to put petrol. And the harvest, it was...
You can totally fix your... I love live. Fix your chair.
So, no worries. So the first harvest he did in La Fond du Loup, I think he put too many grapes in the tanks.
Okay.
So, with the fermentation, the
cap. Yeah, it rises.
the cap
Yep.
went outside, so it was a nightmare. So he used to really sleep in the cellar during harvest time. Yeah. This is something that we don't do anymore. We learn.
Okay, that's good. So did he ever tell you, how do you learn winemaking? Just on the job? Were people willing to
So I think he
help
went
him, or-
he went to school for a little time.
Okay.
And then my father is a very smart guy, so he picked quite easily. And this is a job that we can learn by watching people and by experimenting ourselves. So it's not like being a lawyer or a doctor where you really have to study.
Well,
So
you
it's
do know that they
limited.
call in America those are called you practice law,
Oh yeah,
and you practice medicine.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
I mean, at least they let you practice on a few dead people, but that first time a doctor surgeon goes in, I'm really impressed. Like that first case, like I wouldn't want to be the guy because I went to law school. I wouldn't be the guy like that's someone's life. Oh, sorry, we lost.
Yeah.
You're going to jail for the rest of your life.
Sorry.
Sorry. I tried. I'm practicing. So he was self-taught, and can you remember any changes that he made from when he took over?
So, I mean, again, I was too young, but
okay.
yes, the major change was going to be just a vine grower and bringing all the fruits to the cooperative
Okay.
to being a wine maker.
Okay. So he was a switch from
Yes, yes.
And some people may not know. A lot of people, but explain to them what a co-op is.
Oh, a co-op is a place owned by several different winemakers where they all bring their own grapes and they share the same facilities and they make like a wine. So it's usually a big batch of wine and they don't bottle themselves their wine.
Right. It gets
under
bought
their name.
by the Louis Latours of the
Yes,
world.
yes, something like that.
Yeah, the Favleys, those bigger producers, and I'm sure there's some obviously down
Yep.
in Chateauneuf. So when did you start helping besides taking little drops of?
I didn't have the choice. I think it was when I was 10 or 11 years old when my father told me, okay, you're big enough to help me in the vineyard. So every summer, every morning from 7 to 11 a.m., I had to work in the vineyard. And
There's laws against that.
Okay, and I wasn't paid.
There are laws.
I wasn't paid.
against that.
And I remember one of my father's employee, one time it was so...
Those are 16-hour days. You're 10 years old.
No, it's from from 7
AM.
a.m. to 11 a.m. So it's
Oh, okay, just in the morning. That's right, because then it gets too hot. Got it.
so
Still.
and one of my father's employee one day it was so difficult was what my father asked me to do. So my father's employee Abdel was crying and said, "No, you shouldn't do that to your daughter." And he said, "I'm gonna do her work. I'm gonna do her work." And anyway, it's how I learn.
Okay. And so your family has this wine business, and you're really working since you're 10 years old. Did you go to university?
Oh yes, but I didn't study any like
Viticulture,
winemaking
okay.
or viticulture. No. I went to business school.
Okay. So you majored in business.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what I did.
Okay. No, that's cool because, it's, here, because you come here a lot and you have a lot of friends in California, it became like you said it before, winemaking was stuff people learned. It was like from their parents or their grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
And then in America, we got the bright start a college program. And now I know there's universities, there's programs
some
in
France as well.
Yeah.
So
and in Italy now, I know,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to do this job, really. I wasn't supposed to do that. And so it happened to me 20 years ago. And I work with my husband,
yeah.
who also learn from scratch, I would say. Never go to school for that. And we both learn. And when it's a passion,
Yeah.
And again, we don't have to save life. So even
Right.
if it was sometimes very difficult. So now we manage very well. I want to say that to everybody. That's okay. But at the beginning, it wasn't very easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we learn how to work with people who know better than we did at the time. And so try to learn from them and to create. The good thing is, when you study something, people tell you have to do that, and that. in the winemaking business, when you know nothing, you have to think about what you want to drink and what pleases you and what you want to give to people. So that was our, I would say, on a scale in between A to Z, that was the point A.
Okay.
So we start with the wine that we wanted to drink. How can we reach that? And then this is how we really started to make wine.
So let's back up a little bit. Where did you? Where was the university still in Chateauneuf, or did you go into the city? Where did...
Châteauneuf, it's a small village.
Okay.
No, I went to Avignon, which is not a very big city.
Okay.
But it's
the biggest close city.
Yeah, the closest city. This is where I've been.
Okay.
Not very far away from home.
Well, I mean, I'm in New Jersey, and I would say, easily 50% of people with college degrees went to Rutgers, which is right down the street. So that's people don't go far from home, to be honest with you. So you graduated, and then did you stay in Avignon? Did you go off to Paris to work in business? What happened after you graduated?
No. Well, right after graduating, I get married.
Okay.
So I was very young, and I start working with my father, but in Luxembourg.
Okay.
So I start selling wine in Luxembourg. And I did that for, let's say, 2 years. Then I got pregnant with my first baby. And then I went back to work. And then I got pregnant with my second one. And this is when I was like maybe 24 years old. And this is when my father told me, okay, you know what? It's going to be your turn now. Here are the keys and do your job. So this is how.
So you're 24. Yeah. You're married.
Yeah.
2 children.
Yeah. Yes. But now I'm 45. I'm still married. I got 3 kids, and they are grown up.
Okay. Wonderful. And literally, did he literally just one day he's like, "That's it, kiddo"?
Yeah, something like that. So something like that. It was like that. It was on a Sunday morning, and I remember him telling me, "Oh, it's your turn now."
And was his shit packed? His car was packed. He just said he packed in the middle of the day. He's like, "Your turn," and took off.
I actually took the plane. Told me, drive me to the airport. So I have something to tell you. I won't be back tomorrow. I say, what? Say, no, it's your turn now. So on Monday, you and Laurent, of course, are going to be in charge of the winery.
And Laurent, you met him at university, I think?
No.
No?
No.
How'd you meet Laurent? See, you gotta tell. Don't play poker. Because
Okay.
you gotta tell, so there's a story behind it.
Of course, there's a story.
I know,
with
it's a
me,
boy and a
there's
girl.
always-
But it's a boy. There's always a story when it comes to love. When it comes to love, it's
so
always a story.
my husband was supposed to be a Catholic priest.
Nice!
And 6 months before, he met the the Holy Trinity. And then he decided to not be a Catholic priest anymore.
So wait, this is a great story. So is he walking what is that called?
No.
You didn't have the kit yet? Okay,
No,
I didn't know
it was
but I didn't know
6 months before.
But still the McDonald's you practice
No.
put the habit or whatever. No, habits
No.
Okay, but he's
No, he was a student.
It was
He was a
student.
student, and he's a little bit older than I am.
Okay.
No, the story is, I remember I saw him the first time I was 16 years old.
Okay.
I saw this guy walking, and I had something pop up in my head, say, oh, this is going to be my husband. But I was 16 years old, and I didn't talk to him at the time. Just watching him walking,
Yeah.
I had this feeling, or I don't know how to explain that.
No, people get it.
So
We call it love at first sight. But but it's
No,
deeper.
it was
it's
not
deeper. No,
love.
because you said he's gonna be my husband.
yeah, but
Wow.
I didn't love the guy
Right.
at the first sight.
Right.
I didn't meet him. I just had this certitude that this guy is going to be my husband. And we really met 2 years after.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say, okay, maybe it can be. And then
And then
been married for
he said,
20.
"Peace out, God.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm marrying Anne Charlotte."
Something like that.
Oh my God! So, when you were handed the keys and had to take over the estate, what was your first thought?
Merde. And then putain. Sorry, excuse my French. No, I was, my first thought was, wow, I really have to do the best for my ancestor to be proud and to keep the domain in the family and to do my best. But honestly, the first word was, wow,
It was
am I going
shit.
to, am I going
Yeah.
to be able to do that? Are we going to be able to do that? And yeah, so not easy,
Okay.
but step by step, you learn.
And what year was that?
2002, so 20 years ago.
Wow. Okay, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Amazing. And what was it like off season when he handed over to you? It was at least it was like. Don't tell me it was like right.
I don't remember when it
Okay.
was exactly.
Okay.
No, I have no idea. I don't remember.
Okay. Because that'd be really cool. That'd be really messed up. He's like, okay, it's harvest time. You got it.
No, it was before harvest.
yeah,
because
yeah,
I remember that my first harvest was 22.
Okay.
And it was a very difficult vintage. We had a lot of rain. We lost 70%. So I learned the hard way that when you are a winemaker, you have to be very humble. You not decide a lot of things. You let nature, so nature decides for you a lot, and you have to deal with that. So you do the best you can with what the nature gives to you. Every vintage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you are not a winemaker. You are vigneron.
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 Ouais,
That's what I said.
Pas mal.
I got a not bad. I know that much. What's the difference for people who may not know between a vigneron and a winemaker, just a winemaker?
Oh, okay. So
Or just
in
tell people what a
France-
vigneron is, yeah, in
So
France.
vigneron is handling the process from A to Z.
Okay.
Like we are in the vineyard, we take care of the vines, and then we make the wine and we sell the wine.
I got it.
So this is what a vigneron really is. Yeah, a vigneron makes everything.
And so, are you still the one who makes the wine yourself?
So I work with Laurent, my husband.
Yep.
So, and we have Stéphane working with us as well. Me during harvest time, I'm responsible for the vineyard. So I will harvest with all the team. And then I am also responsible for the blending.
Okay.
So with Laurent and Stéphane.
Okay.
Okay. But I'm not responsible for the cellar during the harvest because I cannot do everything at the same time. So my skill is to be in the vineyard, to sort the grapes, to pick the right grapes, to make sure that we have the best fruit as possible. Because when you make wine, if you want to make a good wine, this is the first secret, to have good fruits. So that's my job.
And I just realized, because I can't name them, I have the damn T-shirt. But how many different grapes are permitted in Châteauneuf du
In
Pape?
Châteauneuf du Pape, we have 13 different grapes varieties.
That's just the reds, right?
No, red and white.
Red and
There's
white.
6 for the white and 7 for the reds.
Okay. And are all these grapes and these wines planted from your estate?
Oh, yes, yes. Everything is estate grown. You see the engraved bottle like that? It's that we are
Oh, that's what that
producer. We are
Ah.
producer of our own grapes. So by the law, I am not allowed to buy some grape from somebody else to put it in my bottle. So everything that is in the bottle comes from our estate.
And do you have all 13 grapes planted on your
No,
estate?
we have 8 of them.
Okay.
We have 4 for the reds and 4 for the whites.
Okay, so I know the 4 for the whites. What are the 4 in the reds?
So in this particular cuvée, there's only 2, Grenache and Syrah. But
Yep.
in our traditional blend, there's Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre, and Cinsault.
We're gonna do. I love Cinsault. We're gonna do a collaboration, me and you. You're gonna help me make a Cinsault,
Who is-
100%.
Yeah, okay.
I'm serious.
Let's do that. Bourboulenc and Cinsault together.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
I was like,
It's
I
a
know,
joke,
I
it's
know.
a
I was like, you
It's
got some crazy Cote Rôtie thinking going on there, but
something like that.
and was that a decision? Was that how the property came, or was that a decision you and Laurent made when
No,
you took
it
over?
was planted like that.
Okay.
The only decision we took over the year is when some vines die, we need to replace them, and we replace them with more Mourvèdre. Because we like Mourvèdre, and it's also a varieties that is very resilient with the global warming, so that handle very well the higher temperature. So this is also why we decided to plant a little bit more Mourvèdre, and because I really love Mourvèdre.
That's wonderful. So, what were the farming practices? So you told me about that, but what were the farming practices when you took over the estate? Like, how are you farming now, and what were the practices, and how are you
Yes.
farming now?
Always been it has always been organically oriented,
Okay.
with some period, certainly at the beginning, was more conventional, but it has always been very, very organically oriented. So right now, we are in the process to be really certified organic, and I never took the time to do that before, and I thought that maybe that wasn't useful, but we have to do that to have this recognition. We also have certified HVE level 3, which is a certification which encourages the biodiversity. So we have bees, we make our own honey. You go to the winery, you make a hole, and you will find some earthworms everywhere, insects everywhere. So we created a very alive environment. So we have sheep coming after the harvest to eat all the grass, and we are going to work with a horse for the first time in 2023, which is in like less than 2 months.
Yeah. Oh, and so you're gonna like the horse and plow type thing instead of a tractor?
So yes, in a certain plot in the Puy-Roland. The Puy-Roland is a plot planted with 120 years old vines. Can you imagine those vines?
Older than me. That's
Crazy,
old.
Yes. And so they are very fragile. They become more and more fragile, so we have to take care of them. And we thought that the horses instead of tractor will be less dangerous for the vines. So this is what we are going to do from 2023. Yeah.
And you also mentioned about. Well, let me just ask a question. So, natural. Do you irrigate at all, or?
So it's not really allowed in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, except when it's extremely, extremely dry and warm. A certain amount of time we can. So what we do, and we can do that on the on the baby vines. So this is what we do on the baby vines. We give them water, otherwise they would die. And so we try to be good parents. So this is something that, to me, it's important to see the winemaking process and the vine grower process as a parent. We really take care of the vines as we take care of our kids. It's important. We are expecting a new child every year. We never know what we are going to get. An easy one, a pen in the beep, beep, beep. Yeah. So you never know what is going to happen. But you take that as a gift that nature gives you. And as parents, you have to help your child to really become what they want to become, to go through their own path, to develop their own personality. And I think it's exactly the same with the wine and with the vines. So I never do to my vines what I don't want to do with my kids. This is the first principle. And then in terms of winemaking, the idea is really to think about what was the vintage, honestly, is it a warm vintage, is it a cooler vintage, and what the wines want tell us, which story the wines want to tell us, and to follow. It's not, decided for the wine. It's like guiding and following. And this is exactly what you have to do as a parent. You not decide what they are going to be, but you try to push them as far as they can to be the best. And this is what we do. So this parenting view of the winemaking and the vine growing process is something that I like a lot, and this is something that I share with my husband. So it's our way of doing.
There's a lot of jokes here that you won't get, so I'm not going to go there. But
Go ahead.
no, I was going to say, now it all makes sense why there's not a lot of black winemakers, because my mom used to beat me, so she'd be out there. She'd be like, you make wine, or I'm going to give you something to whine about. Like, she give you something to cry about. Like, very strict. So
Okay. My father was very, very strict. Believe me.
so you became the. Got it. I got you.
Yeah. Could have been your mother. You know what?
Yeah. Oh my God. So your wines, I would say, so they're highly regarded if you know them. It's a weird thing, right? Like, and by that, so we met at Hospice de Rhone. Your table at Hospice de Rhone was always like 3 or 4 deep.
That is
Like
true.
it essentially is. I know, but when but that was the first time I had them, and I love Chateauneuf du Pape because there's a lot of other stuff in the market. What do you think? Why is there a little bit of a lag? What do you think? What do you think that gap is? And like these wines, more people knowing about how great these wines are.
It's a tough question to answer. I don't really know. In fact, what I know is my wines, we make them for us first,
Yeah.
because we love drinking them.
Yep.
But we make them for the people to enjoy them. And I mean, nothing makes me more happy than somebody who sent me a text saying, "Oh, Anne-Charlotte, I opened a bottle of your wine last night with friends, and we had a blast, and the wine was fantastic." Honestly, this makes my heart full. And I know that in Hospice du Rhône, I have a lot of friends, and I also have a lot of winemakers friends. And but I don't want to say that and think that I don't want people to think that I'm not humble. You know what I mean? But
No, these are just facts. That's what I'm saying. These
so
are facts.
some of my winemakers friends told me, you know what, we tasted your wine, we listened to you talking about the terroir, how fresh is La Fondulot. It's a very unique terroir in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. We can talk about that after if you like, but very, very unique, which allows us to make extremely delicate and elegant style of wine, and not big blockbuster. That is a little bit what Châteauneuf-du-Pape was or is,
Yeah.
sunny, a lot of stones, so big wines that I cannot produce. So, but the people, they like to drink this kind of wine.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people say, "Oh, La Fondulot, I had a bottle, it was amazing." One of the owner of a restaurant in Paso Robles
Yeah.
told me, "I sell so much of your wine because the people drink your Châteauneuf-du-Pape to refresh themselves."
Well, I was gonna say. I mean,
after."
everybody knows I love Paso Robles. I love my
Oh,
friends,
me
but
too.
but the wines are
wines are
they're
big.
They're
They are
big.
massive.
They're massive, and that goes to terroir. And it's so funny because just the other day, I don't know if you saw. He tagged you? Mark Adams was in Santa Barbara,
Yeah.
and Mark Adams is Ledge. Shout out to Ledge.
Yeah.
Makes fantastic wines, and his are actually a little bit more pulled back from
Yep.
from Justin and Donnie's
You're
even.
right.
But he was out at a restaurant, and what do you got? You got a bottle of Chateau Fondulot, 2018.
Yeah, so that's great to see that. And this year in Paso Robles, one of the winemaker came and told me, "Okay, I had a batch of wine coming from a very, very cold place of my vineyard. And I didn't know what I'm going to do because it was like more restrained than the rest, and it was maybe more not as, show off,
Yeah.
if I can say
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that. And so he told me, and then I think about you and the wine that you produce, and I decided to bottle this wine. And it's 100% Grenache from Turtle Rock, if
Yeah.
I can mention the name.
Yeah,
of
we
the
can.
winery.
Yeah, of course.
And so he
Love
told
Don.
me I really did that after you, and especially the cuvée that we were mentioning called Le Puy Roland.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, don't say that. I'm going to cry. And he said, no, it's true. So I was, oh, wow, my goodness.
Yes, that's what I mean. It's like if you know, like, okay, so Don Burns just got his first 100 points. Justin Smith, who's got multiple 100-point wines, every year he like buys your lot. So we have Hospice de Rhone does an incredible charity event, and every year he buys her lot. And I'm just gonna brag on you a little bit. I don't know if I'm
of
like
that.
he paid like $10,500 for some bottles of yours,
Yeah.
and there was actually a bidding war that was actually pretty funny.
That was a funny bidding. That was very funny. And that was very generous of him, of course, for Hospice de Rhone. And to me, it's such a recognition. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. And when people say, we enjoy your wine, we
Yeah.
drink your wine, we enjoy your wine, I'm super happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, and like when you talk about your friends or winemakers, well, shout out to Jeff Cohn who caught us in the car on the way to lunch. Love Jeff, and then Mikael.
Yeah, Michael, but not only the winemakers, a lot of people. But yes, we are more famous, or I would say more, famous on the public
Yeah,
side than on a journalist or whatever
Yeah,
side
yeah,
of the industry.
yeah.
I don't know why, but c'est comme ça.
Yeah. I mean, I had a guest on. Do you know Alice Firing, the wine writer?
Yep.
She was on, and I mean, I know what she would say. Like, she wrote a book, "How I Saved the World from the Parkerization of Wine." There was, and I'm a fan of Robert Parker. I'm not going to lie. I think he did a lot for wine, but he had a very specific taste. And then you hear it all the time. A lot of people, particularly like, I mean, the Rhone stuff, like Shiraz down in Australia, like everybody just started making bombastic, like Dolly Parton wines, right? It got crazy for a while. But I think it's something special that even amongst people who make the winemakers who are getting great scores, they turn to you for inspiration and enjoy your wines. I think that says a lot.
Oh, it says a lot.
It's kind of like winning an award. Like, it's sometimes better, like in the U.S., it's kind of better to win the Screen Actors Guild Award than the Oscar. The Oscar might make you more money, but like the recognition of your peers sometimes is an incredible.
Yes, and what is great in Châteauneuf? Châteauneuf is quite a big appellation. There's over 200 different winemakers, and there's over 200 different ways to make
Styles of
wine,
wine, yeah.
and styles. And I think what is the most important is to feel confident with the style and to express the beauty of our terroir. And I mean, everybody has a fantastic terroir in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, and the way they express their terroir is different because the terroir is different. Our terroir is cooler. We have sand. We are on altitude. The vines are north-facing.
So yeah, I want you to so
it's different.
yeah.
So the wines are different, and the style of the wine is different. And I mean, I'm glad that people like it.
Yeah.
For sure, it wasn't the most famous style of Châteauneuf-du-Pape, but that's fantastic if Châteauneuf-du-Pape has been put on a map.
Yeah.
By journalists and by fantastic winemakers who were able to put Châteauneuf on a map. I wasn't able, and I would never been able to put Châteauneuf on a map only by myself,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But it's fantastic if some people could do that. So now the style changed a little bit. People are looking for more drinkable. And
Yeah, I think that's
easy
starting to
wines,
happen. Just in general, this whole younger generation, these weird kids who don't drink and or they drink seltzers and
Oh yeah.
these they want super low alcohol wines. But I think there's always going to be a balance, right? So if it brings some of these bigger wines down, because sometimes now I'll have a wine and I'm like, shit, it's like 15.8. And I'm like, yeah, I can only have like a glass. I can only have a glass, but then we'll drink it all night. But I should only have a glass because. So I do want to talk about the terroir. You mentioned it, sand. Why is sand so important or unique in Chateauneuf?
The sand versus the stones. So, in Chateauneuf, we are quite famous for what we call galets roulés. So, those big stones that have
They
been
are stones. They are
rounded.
not rocks, I've
They're-
been told.
Okay, no, we call that
Galet,
galets
yeah,
roulés.
yeah.
So, they are big rocks or stones or
Yep,
whatever
yep.
rounded by the Rhone River. So, those big rocks or stone can get very warm during the day and will stay warm at night as well. So the roots of the vines growing on this type of soil stay warm night and day.
Okay.
And plus, if you put your hand just right above a stone, you can feel the radiation. So the stones, they also warm the grapes
Mm-hmm. Okay.
during the day.
Mm-hmm.
On a sandy soil, and you all made this experience on the beach if you walk barefoot. If it's super sunny, it's hot, you really have to run to the water like that.
Yep.
But as soon as the sun goes down, after 10 minutes, it's cold. So the roots of the vines growing on the sandy soil have a big delta of temperature in between night and day. And this is the main difference in between a rocky soil and a sandy soil. It's the temperature of the soil, so the temperature of the roots as well. Of course, the water doesn't have the same root when it's on a sandy soil and on a rocky soil, but the most important thing for me is the temperature of the soil.
So, my brain is weird. You know that. We've hung out enough already. And I'm quite silly, but it's like a double diurnal thing because you have the winds going through that cool
Yep.
it down, but then it's also cooling down at night. So
Yep.
with the sand, you're getting
So La Font du Loup used to be called the refrigerator of Châteauneuf-du-Pape. It still is the coldest place of Châteauneuf. It's cold. And I remember, you know what, there's I don't know if I told you that already, but it's a memory that I have. When I was a child, my mother always told my sister and myself, my youngest sister wasn't born
okay.
at the time, but my sister Emmanuelle and myself, that she's going to drive us to the swimming pool in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. There was this public swimming pool in Châteauneuf, only if the Mistral wasn't blowing. And I remember every time in La Font du Loup, when you look at a tree, it starts moving. And I remember when I was a child, I thought that my superpower was to make the wind blow. So, because every time I was looking at a tree, it started blowing, and my mother would say, "No, it's too windy. We don't go to the swimming pool." So I was walking like that,
Oh, so looking down so you don't.
looking down. So make sure that I don't look at a tree and I don't provoke the wind. So we have a lot of wind.
That's awesome. And I point of reference. So one of the great wines of the world, in addition to but considered like one of the great wines of the world, is Chateau Rayas, which is in Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
Oh yes, it's a fantastic winemaker. The wines are exceptional.
Sandy soils.
Sandy soils, yes.
Yeah. What percentage I mean, this is like a total wine geek question. Do you know what percentage of the soil is
No.
rock? Okay.
No.
Google it, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Listen.
Use Google. I don't even know the 13 different grape varieties of Châteauneuf-du-Pape. I always forget at least 2. So you can use Google.
Yeah, you can use
yes.
Google. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's no, we're not.
And I'm sure that somebody may know the answer.
Oh, yeah.
and will send us.
Someone
the
will send me a
answer.
DM. Yeah,
Yes, send you
And
a
the-
DM
and
and
the-
say, okay, this is the answer.
yeah. I'd be like, do you have a podcast? You don't know the 13 grapes of Chateauneuf de Pape?
No.
What are you doing? No, I don't, man. So I poured some of this red. This is
So that was in my suitcase for I don't know how
I know.
many days.
Yeah.
And it's a wine that we decided to do in 21.
Wait, I see Nature
Grandeur Nature. It's without sulfites, without added.
without
sulfites.
added sulfites.
It's something that we wanted to experiment. You know, as a winemaker, it's also great to try new stuff. It's great to challenge ourselves, and this is something that we wanted to try. So we did the Grandeur Nature. It's a blend of Grenache and Syrah.
It's good.
It should be good.
Well, your wines
Very
are great. Yeah.
clean.
It's very clean.
Easy to drink.
I'm probably going to put some preservation on this and save this one tonight, but
Yep.
I'm going to go home. I'm having leftover spicy pork like I made.
Oh yes.
And this will go.
You can do that, but don't keep it for 2 days.
No.
Kill the bottle.
I'm going to celebrate.
Yes, celebrate.
Celebrate that we got to do this and
Yes.
that bottle between Pam and I is
It's
going to.
called Grandeur Nature.
Yeah.
And,
So let's shift gears a bit, and if you're watching this live on Facebook, you probably see the ticker, where which has a Bitly link where you can go to donate to help Anne Charlotte. And Anne Charlotte, tell us why we're here today. Tell everybody. I mean, in addition to one, you're an incredible friend. Like I said, we met this summer or in spring, and I said we're going to do a full podcast. Right? I remember I said that,
Yep.
and then we
And
just
here
happened
we
to be in the
are.
same place at the same time 3 weeks ago, and then we're going to be in the same place again. And then I heard her story, and I was like, you know what, we're doing a podcast on this. So your family's had this for nearly 100 years over, and you've been running it since 2000, and getting, and like everybody said, critical acclaim from inside the industry, well known, highly regarded wines, but why are we here to what happened? Because you're in a little bit of a pickle.
What happened is something that can happen to everybody. So I've been contacted by a super famous wine importer in Ohio, and we wanted to have my wine, so we planned everything, a 2-year partnership and everything. So he received the wine, and maybe a month after receiving the wine, he declared bankruptcy. So he put himself under the Chapter 11. Now I know everything about the Chapter 11 and your bankruptcy laws, thanks to this guy. But because of him, I lost a lot of money, like really a lot, which the amount jeopardized, honestly, the future of the winery. And I'm not sure that I can get my wine back. So I'm almost sure that I cannot get my wine back. So I had to take a lawyer. Because it takes place in Ohio, it's a franchise state. So that is another difficulty.
That's a whole nother layer.
It's another layer of difficulty, and it's a nightmare. Honestly, when I learned the news, it was just a day before my last trip to the US, so a little bit over than a month ago. And my first thought was, okay, I just need to take some medicines or drugs, and then, my husband and the kids, they will get the insurance, and that's going to be done. And I honestly was about to do it. I published something on Facebook on a group that I'm a part of, and somebody told me, okay, no, stop. You don't do that, and realize that you have friends, you have people that know you, and you see that you're not alone, and people won't let you down. So you need to think about something. First thing you have to do is to try to get a lawyer. So I contacted Vicky, telling her, do you know maybe a lawyer in Ohio that can help me? And I told her the story, and she said, there's a community with you, no worries, and we will help you. So I decided to not take all my pills in one day, and that maybe won't be a very good idea for the family and my friend and for myself, because honestly I like life more
Yeah.
than everything
Yep,
else.
yep.
So, and doing that for not good reason, it's not great.
Yep.
So she helped me to find a lawyer, and a very, very nice guy that at first told me that it's going to cost me in between 30,000 to 100,000 dollars, but to recover, to like 90% sure we won't recover nor the money, neither the wines.
All right, so we're
I
gonna
was-
back stop for this one pause because it's like a lot. It's like any story. Like I heard this story a few weeks ago at dinner, and I didn't realize like it was like a 2-year thing, and then like it was like after all this time.
So we honestly we worked and we make this. We had Zoom meetings and we prepared. They told me we want to order wine to have at least wine for 2 years. Then you can go to this state, go there, go there. We are going to ask you to come like at least 2 times a year to visit us, support the market. I did it once. I went. I support the market. I sold some wine. And you know, I met the people, I talked to the people, so I trust.
Yeah,
And-
you did your due diligence. I mean,
Yes,
it's yeah.
and the company has been there almost forever, for a very long time. I knew some people working with them. One of my friends in California worked with them. I asked him the question, and he was like very positive. So the warnings never, you know,
There were no red flags.
no red flags.
Yeah.
So no red flags, and yes, it's so. Honestly, it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
It's-
I mean, first of all, it's like you can just Google. You Google wine importer distributor Ohio bankruptcy, and you can find out who it is. It's public. It's out there. It's filed. If you just Google that. I don't have to give you the name. You just Google that, and you can see the filing. And you know, the fact, and this is where it's tough. I mean, this is where it's tough. I went to law school, and when you go to law, I realize like how tough the legal system is. So like, excuse me. I think it's like they have like $188,000 worth of your goods or something like that, or your outlay. And then this guy was going to say it could cost you $100,000 with a 90% chance you're not going to get anything back.
Yes, so
That's crazy.
That was the first. Then it became a little bit better in terms
Okay.
of you know, the price of the lawyer. But at first it was that, and because you're, as I understood, a Chapter 11,
Yep.
like really protect the people who own money.
Right.
And so if you are a creditor, you lose everything, no matter what.
Yeah.
So I'm a creditor. I'm
And there's a line, and what there is
yes, the states
there,
first.
yeah,
and
there's yeah,
employees.
right. You
and
have
blah, 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 blah,
right,
blah.
right.
So me, I'm what they call me unsecured creditor.
Right.
Because even if they sell the assets in auction, they will get money. But
It'll go to the
this-
other people first.
It will go to the other people first, and I'll be on the last people on the list. So there's no way for me to recover the money. So I was talking to the lawyer who told me that it's going to cost me a lot of money, and that wasn't really fun. And then he called me a little later telling me, okay, I think he wanted to help me. I was like so crying on the phone, and I'm still, you know, super stressed out and really devastated
Yeah.
and desperate. Those are the terms that I can use. And I think he has kind of pity.
Yeah.
And he told me, okay, I'm going to help you, and we'll try to protect your wine from being a part of the assets of the company. But there's only a tiny, tiny, tiny chance. It's right now, I don't count on having my wine back,
Yeah.
nor my money.
Yeah.
So it is, yes, it is a nightmare. The situation I'm right now in is very, very difficult because first I feel feel like shame
Right.
and guilt
Yep.
as well because I put my family and my domain in this situation
Yeah.
and that I didn't choose, and I really I fought for so long for the winery,
Yep.
years and years
Yep.
and years. Tried to learn how to do my job.
Yep.
Tried to learn how to do good wine,
Yep.
and because of one person,
Yep.
that I don't want to say that I'm about to lose everything. It's just money. Maybe I don't know what will happen. But can you imagine? It's it's really, really difficult, and the guilt and the shame.
Yeah. And we say this, I could say this, and it's not going to help you, but you didn't do anything wrong. But that's the problem with shame.
Yeah,
We
shouldn't be the
we
one-
always think that we
Yes.
could have done something.
I shouldn't be the one to feel ashamed.
No.
And I feel ashamed and I feel guilty.
And people, and I don't know, I'm not, but like, he's protected. He's not feeling anything but protected. He doesn't have to pay these bills,
No.
and that's
terrible. Like,
really
I mean,
terrible.
And I wonder why he picked me. What did I do? What did I do? Why did he?
The fact, and that you're asking yourself those questions. You did nothing. You wanted to sell your wines.
Yeah, I wanted to
that's it.
sell my wine. I wanted to make my wine. To do business. I
Yeah.
mean, to pay the salary of my employees, to make my business continue, to be more present on the market. So I did my job.
Yeah.
And so I feel so much guilt that I wasn't able to talk about anybody about that, except to some of the people. But I didn't tell that to my husband. So I told him like a week ago when I came back to France.
Yeah.
And that was
Probably difficult.
very difficult. I don't want to. So I now I really realized that past week that I really have a community, and we have a community behind us. And I was talking to people who all told me, we won't let you down. We help you as much as we can. We won't let you down. So I hope that we can all together try to climb these big bumps. So life is full of bumps. I had a lot, and I saw that I would have been a little bit, relieved for sometimes, but no, of course not.
Yeah.
And this is a very, very big bump that I'm not able to climb by myself.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this later, you can go to bit.ly/save SAVE font FONTDULOUP bit.ly save Fontaloup. It's all one word. And we're not talking about we're not talking about we're not talking about Anne Charlotte's decided to go on a bender and do cocaine and go crazy. She's going around the United States and Vegas like gambling away. Like literally, she was just expanding, doing what she thought was a wise business decision, expanding the markets. And I don't want to use the word tragedy, but it would be really tragic for this for us not to help you get through this, because I think you're young and compared to me, you're just coming into your own winemaking wise. There's so much more for you to do. And just when I heard the story, I'm a couple bottles in, but I was like, no, we're doing a podcast. We're going to do a podcast, and we're going to, and a bunch of other people pitched in, and we helped her set up the GoFundMe. Shout out to Carrie and Aaron and Vicky, everyone who worked on that. And as a close out people, as a producer, as someone who's been in this game for a while, is there any advice you could give someone who's starting out in the wine business, you know?
So, when you deal with certain countries, you ask people to pay you in advance. When you deal with the US, usually it's not something that you ask,
Yep.
but that could be a good thing to do, or at least secure your shipment with
yeah.
at least 30%.
Yep.
But I know, when you want to sell wine,
But that becomes a
when
thing, yeah.
you want to please your customer, and I would never ever think about something pick my winery. We are small winemakers, small
Yep.
winery. Usually the people I work with are it's really a nice relationship
Yep.
we have,
Yep.
and they are people that we can trust easily. So it is it is not a fun situation.
Yeah, that's interesting that you
And
talked about that.
it's really something that I want people to know, that they have to be careful. So winemakers, be careful. Be very careful, because it's easy. And I've been doing this business for almost 15 years now. It's the first time. So it's not like I'm not a newbie. And it's something that can happen no matter what. And yes.
And I think it's interesting, like you said, because you said with some countries, like, even here, like, people are like, you got to pay me, you got to pay me, you got to pay me, you got to pay me up front, like, you got net, you have to pay me, COD, whatever, I mean, what's so crazy is distributors do that. You miss one, you're like late, then they put you on COD, right? So like say you're a wine store, right?
Yeah.
You're late, then you're on COD.
And you're on COD.
Right? Cash on delivery. But then, then some people are like, oh, well, we, and like you said, I don't know how you get to knowing where you're at in the relationship with someone, but, because then some people are like, all right, some people you might trust to pay you later. But I'm not saying, but I think it's very important that it can happen to anybody, because you have a degree in business, you understand business, and you've been doing this for a long time.
I've been doing this for a very long time.
Right.
And
So
it's the first time that happened. I've been doing this for 15 years. And it's the first time that something happened to me. And okay, is it my fault? I don't know.
it's not. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, it's not your
I
fault.
mean, that happened, and I just want the people to be aware that everything can happen,
Yeah.
and just to share that, to just tell people, be careful. Tell of all of the winemakers, small wineries, be careful, because not everybody wants. Yes, to be honest.
And also just I'm just thinking, like, it's for me, it's just like, this is a crazy situation. It really is. Like it, we talked there. I'm not gonna say things I would want to say, but I will say that it just seems grimy to me. It just seems really, just like you said, you're small, like, and then
Yes.
on top of that, this happens as we're just coming out of a worldwide pandemic. So everybody was affected by COVID, right? So,
Yep.
so of course you're going to try and open new markets. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, and I was very happy.
Yeah.
I was very happy, and so the U.S. market is a very important market for me. And even if I don't have all my eggs in the same basket, it's still a very important market. And I decided to work state by state to really develop the brand around the different states. And so that was my decision. And when they contacted me, so I wanted to work with this company for years. It was a kind of graal, that I wanted to reach. It's to be with this company, because I knew they were super well known and famous. So I don't know what happened.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I really, really, really hope that we are going to get out of this situation, because right now is.
So like, where's it at? Where's it at today? Because I know we came in last night and you've been talking to the lawyers various times, and
So we don't really know right now. It is going to take a long time, and they were supposed to sell their company to someone else, but it didn't happen. So right now, the lawyer doesn't really know. Told me to wait a little bit. We are going to get some more informations. So we'll see. We'll see what happened. We'll see what happened. But the emergency is that I was supposed to have this money on my account and to.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand. Like a producer like you, so there's an expression you probably heard it. How do you make a small fortune in the wine business? You start out with a large one. So there's a lot of romance around wine. It is
Yes.
romantic. It's incredible for bringing people together and food and conversation. However, for someone like you, like it's almost what we would call paycheck. Like you need that money.
But
Yeah, I mean, you're not sitting on millions of dollars.
no.
You're not some tech millionaire who said, "I'm going to start a winery in Napa and I have billions of dollars." So, and they're throwing money to lose to just to get a score, right?
No, just-
like you need that money to
Oh,
pay
yeah,
people.
so to pay my salary,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't.
And that's right. You actually you have siblings, so like you run this estate, but you
Yes, but they are not involved.
okay,
by my
but you don't. But
sisters. But me, I wasn't able to pay my salary for 2 months right now
Yeah.
because of this situation. So it's yes, it's a tricky situation. I know that is only money, so there's no.
No, I understand that, but like, I mean, I want anybody who's listening, like, she's not here blinged out. I mean, she's got on Levi's, she's got some jeans, she's an attractive woman, she's very stylish, but like, she's not like
So actually,
rocking
my,
jewels.
My
and-
Levi's, I got it in the US for $35. They are way less expensive than in France.
See, she's even frugal. She buys her Levi's when she comes over.
Yes, and I have to put me a little bit on a diet because this one is a little tight. So I don't want to buy another one. So I promise I'm no, but and I was so sad. So I was able to smile those past days, but this situation, and for the people who know me, I'm famous for my big smile.
Yes.
It took me my smile, and this is also something that all my life has been like that. I always give 100 points to people, and I trust people like 100 points. And this is the way I work, and I know that maybe I live in a crazy world, more like Disneyland world than the reality, but this is the way I want to live my life. And this kind of situation put me away from that, and now I don't know if I can trust people anymore. You know what
That's
I mean?
the worst. Yeah.
That's the worst. Now I question myself about everybody. So, what is going to happen? What am I going to do? What I'm going to just became?
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of that, like, you just finished a harvest.
Oh yeah. And we had an hailstorm on August the 14th, which damaged 30% of the production. So when I tell you that life is the
Yeah, it's like what they say. It's coming at you like with. It's like it's
it's
throwing
like
blows. It's
waves.
raining blows at you
know?
right now. It's got you on the ropes.
Yeah.
So, this is like, and so that distributor had to know your production was down 30% too. Like, because I'm sure you're communicating with your distributors.
Yeah, but it was I sent the wine before.
I know, but still.
But yeah, of course.
I'm saying that's what I'm saying. I'm like, so now that's another thing too. Like, small producer.
Yeah,
She
why did he pick me?
Right,
You know?
right.
Why?
But also, I want people to understand that, like, okay, we talked about the crest, like there's laws you have to deal with in France. You can't go buy like other people go buy grapes in the United States and make a wine.
No, with this bottle we cannot. If
Right.
we are
Yeah.
a negociant or a cave.
Right, but you're not. That's what I'm saying. Like, so
Me,
like,
I'm not allowed.
you're literally like
No, I'm not.
out 30%. Like, people find ways to compensate for that. You don't have a way to compensate for that. Is
No.
what I'm saying. Except of course the price is going to be higher, but this is not. This is just there's less. It is what it is. It's not fake inflation, you know. And the wines, these wines are spectacular. Anyway. These are not, these aren't your everyday wines, although they should be enjoyed every day. If you can afford, drink them every day. So you were down 30%.
But I mean, this is. I was telling you that every vintage we
It's
welcome
yeah.
a new child, and we are ready for that. So we are ready for that. We are ready. Yes, we know that basically our money is outside. So people have a bank account. We have a bank account as well.
Sure.
But the money is outside in the vines.
Right.
And whatever happens, you know that you are going to lose money.
Yep.
Or maybe that you win money.
Yeah.
And so this is not the I don't complain about like the weather. It's like that. This is something that we can deal with, even if it's difficult.
Yeah.
But this situation is really difficult because, I mean, it leave us like speechless and with no possibility to move forward because that's this money we needed it
Yeah.
just to function, like to just to function.
Yeah, yeah. And just so you know, I mean, is what we know what's really crazy. It was Sunday night. I'm on a couch with my wife, and I'm like, because I used to work in the nonprofit sector, and I was like, when's Giving Tuesday? And I didn't like we decided to do this back on like the 11th of the month. I had no idea that we would be recording live on Giving Tuesday. And just so you know, when it comes to giving, giving is not about necessarily going to a nonprofit so you can get a tax deduction. Just so you know, a lot of nonprofits in the United States, 80% or more goes to pay salaries. It doesn't even go to help people. We're talking about if you're a wine lover, you can have an impact on keeping this historic estate going right now. Not, you know, and, you know, if you go to the GoFundMe, like I said, it's bit.ly/Save Fontaloupe. And Charlotte has put together some nice little incentives for people. Yeah. What are some of the things that people can, for their generosity, just receive as a token of your appreciation?
So there's
We have a couple levels. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple levels, 3 levels actually.
Yep.
So for 1,000, you'll get your vines. So I will put your name in nice vines that I choose for you.
And she'll take care of your children.
And I take care of your children, and so that's gonna be like, you know, as if you adopt a vine.
Yep.
For 5,000 euros, it is a private tour for 4 people, and if it's 6 people, it's 6 people. No worries.
We'll work it out. We'll work it out.
Yes, at home with me. So we'll spend 2 hours together. We'll go everywhere in the vineyard, and we'll open my private cellar to taste some old vintages together as well. So some gems that nobody else tasted. And for the 10,000 euros, we are doing a small cuvée just for this event, which is going to be called la cuvée du cœur. And cœur in French means heart. And we'll have a handful of double magnums for that. And so you'll get your double magnum for 10,000.
Yeah. And you know, just so you know, like I said earlier, at Hospice de Rhone, a series of double magnums have already fetched that. This is not a far-fetched thing. There is tremendous there's tremendous value in the wine, just so you know, inside the wine community that in this wine. And then secondly, there's just value in being a part of something and helping to right a wrong and doing the right thing, in my opinion, to be honest with you, you know. So, you know, just keep that in mind. So, and, you know, we've talked a lot over the past couple weeks, and, you know, and now I lost my thought because I'm really thinking about the magnitude of this. We talked a lot, and I remember, okay, that's what it was. I remember when we were in San Luis Obispo. Even then, you said that you didn't want to be angry.
I don't. This is something that I don't. It is a feeling that I don't want to feel. I don't want to experiment. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be bitter. I don't want to be like sour. You know what I mean? I don't want to have my heart full of bitterness. So I would love to go forward as soon as we can. That could be great. But I want to, in a year from now, think that it's a memory, okay? It is a bad memory, but it is a memory. And I would love to create this community around what happened to me. And I really want to see that as, okay, we are all together, we'll go there together. And I think this is, we can do something positive all together out of this this disaster.
Yeah,
So I hope
yeah.
so. I really hope so.
And so, with that, that's an incredible because there's a lot of ways it can go. You can get bitter, you can get revenge. You
Oh,
can,
no.
you know what I mean. You could
For
seek
what?
vengeance and just and
No.
I forgot what someone said. Resentment as a quote, but it's like swallowing poison and expecting it to kill the other person.
Mm-hmm.
Like so that anger.
No, I don't want to feel that. Honestly, I really don't want to feel that. It's not in my personality. I don't want to. I don't want to.
It's not in her DNA. And I just thought about something you said. Like, you guys have no idea. Her smile lights up a room, and so I I've gotten to know her, and I can feel like, first of all, how hard it was to share even with us inside the community what was going on, but the courage it takes for you to share this, and as a warning for people,
Yes, I know that I expose myself sharing that, and that some people will say, okay, you should have done that or that. Okay, maybe I didn't do what I should have. And maybe some people will say, okay, you are a winemaker from Châteauneuf-du-Pape, you don't need help.
Right.
So I really expose myself.
Yeah.
I don't know how people will react. I'm not very happy to do that, honestly. I do that because I don't have any other solutions. And again, I don't know if it's courage, but actually it's this really what saved my life, because I honestly was about to say, okay, no, it's done now.
Yeah, so it's serious, guys, and just so you know, and I'm going to put this in show notes, but I was thinking about how heavy this topic is and serious. But if you or someone you know is in crisis, they can call 988 on their phone, which is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's available 24 hours a day in English and Spanish. You can go to a Lifeline, 988lifeline.org for information, because sadly, it is an option, right?
Oh, it is an option.
It's an option.
Honestly, it is an option. It's when I read this email from the guy saying that there's no way that I will have my money back, and no way that I'll have my wine back, I say, okay, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So yes, the money from the insurance would help.
Yeah, I don't think people think about what goes through someone's head, like literally, like you're like, well, and like, I don't know what the law is, but like in the United States, you have to have the policy for like 4 years before you can commit suicide. Like it's like crazy, but
I did my research.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I did the research
but like this is why I thought this is so important to share, because it I mean, it's a crisis. It's a crisis. I mean, I'll tell you, I don't know. It's a crisis in young black men. Young black men commit suicide at a high rate. Veterans in the United States commit suicide at a really high rate.
Mm-hmm.
And and what you said, like there's another quote I can't, but it says, be careful. You never know what someone's going through, right? So don't judge someone. Like don't like you said, someone could be like, oh, you're a winemaker from Chateau Neuf and you live in France, and you don't know the burden, you don't, and what it takes to, like we had when we were setting this up, which I don't even do this much prep setting it up. You were like, I don't want this to be heard in France. This could be, what I mean, like literally, I put say Fontainebleau. She's like, oh my god, my siblings are gonna see this and think something, and I'm like, so it take like I don't care. It is courage. It is 100% courage to deal with this the way you're dealing with it, and choosing to move forward with love in your heart and create something special out of it, instead of this could man, this is becoming my political one. Like people go into stores and shoot people up in the United States because they have a bad day and then they kill themselves. That just happened, right? So we need to stop acting like there's not things going on in the world that pressures that people face. And it can happen to a winemaker from France's, when I'm from the Chateau Neuf, who's been in business as long as she has, that, got caught up in the wrong situation.
Yes, so be careful, phone. So if you don't know who exactly you're dealing with, what you can do is to look at the website, phone some of the other producers, not pick the famous one, because this is what I did.
Exactly. Pick the person
the
at the bottom.
less
Yep.
famous producers, because the famous one usually are
It's getting
paying-
all the attention.
Yes.
And they're going to
So
get paid
pick
for
the
it.
other,
Yeah.
phone, ring, ask question. Do that because it will, yes, it can help you to know who you are working with. And
Yeah.
this would be my advice, and be very careful, but continue to make good wine.
Yes. Well, we're gonna get ready to finish up, but we have to have a little more fun. We're gonna have some fun. You played this game at Ad Hospice. We're gonna play it again. It's called FMK. It's for it's fuck, marry, kill. I know. 3 grapes.
Mm-hmm.
One's gonna be your lover, one's gonna be your mate, and you can't have the one that want them ever again. Got to kill it off, okay?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's such a difficult.
I know, and I'm making it super hard for her because she only grows 4 red grapes and 4 white grapes, and I'm gonna pick 3 red grapes, and you know what they are: Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre.
Okay. So, who I am going to F. Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre. I have no idea. I would say maybe Mourvedre.
Okay, I would have okay, because you said earlier I love Mourvedre, so yeah.
I love Mourvedre,
Yeah.
and they tend to be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So we all know that size.
Yes, size matters, right? Let's not act like it doesn't.
Um,
That's why they're double magnums that you can get
Yeah.
the more you donate, because size does matter.
Then marry
Yep.
with Grenache.
Yeah.
Grenache is the backbone
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the wine, so I would say it's the backbone of the
Yeah.
situation, and
Yeah.
we'll always be here to help you.
Yep.
So unfortunately for Syrah, this is but I will never, ever kill anybody.
Yeah, I know. I
No,
mean, no, you
but,
wouldn't. You're just too beautiful a person. But yeah, I mean, that's a tough one, right? Like, I'm liking Mourvedre a lot lately too.
So,
I
and
probably would
love
probably go
Syrah.
I love Syrah too, but like Grenache is, come on, that's
But Syrah, if you hear me, please don't think that. Maybe instead of killing, I can kissing.
yes,
Can we
yes.
say that?
So tell everybody where they can find you.
So on the social media,
Mm-hmm.
we have. So I have a personal account. It's Anne Charlotte Melia Bachas, and we also have Facebook and Twitter. on La Fondulou. So you just go on your computer and you type La Fondulou, Château de La Fondulou or La Fondulou, you will find us on the social media.
Oh, and one more thing. I can't believe I spazzed in the beginning. Tell everybody about the legend of Chateau Fontainebleau.
Oh yes, the La Fondulou means the fountain of the wolf. We are located, as I told you, north facing, and we are facing a mountain called Le Mont Ventoux, which is a very dry mountain. There's no water, a lot of wind, and there were some wolves. And the legends say that the wolf, when they wanted to drink, they always came down to drink at the property, because La Fondulou means the fountain of the wolf. We have this beautiful, very, very beautiful natural spring water fountain where the wolf used to come. Of course, it's a legend.
Those wolves in the Chateauneuf, they drink Perrier.
Yeah, San Pellegrino. But what we show is we are surrounded by a very deep forest, and there were a lot of wolves in this forest, and they used to come to drink at the fountain. This is
I love it.
the legend
Right.
of the wolf.
So, if you want to be a part of, helping to save this legend and this legendary estate, and this, make sure you go to bit.ly/save Fontainebleau. All the listeners, thank you so much. Everybody who watched live, really appreciate you. Thank you, Anne-Charlotte, for being here.
Thank you, MJ. It's super nice of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the community. Thank you for what you just did for me. It's super nice.
It's an honor and a pleasure, and
Merci.
we're gonna keep what do you say? Mon plaisir, avec plaisir.
Yes, avec plaisir.
Don't say durian, all you kids who take French, and it's avec
Avec plaisir.
plaisir, with pleasure. Don't forget to check out the show notes for each episode. That's where you'll find info on the wine we drank, links to the things we discussed in the show, and so much more. Like I said, I'm going to put a link into the crisis line in there. There'll be the link to where you can go to the GoFundMe. Thanks for tuning, everybody. And until the next time, cheers to the Mavericks, the philosophers, the deep thinkers, and all you wine drinkers out there. Peace.